Okay, so we are going to start working on word problems. So you definitely want to write this down. Find two consecutive even whole numbers whose product is 224. Now what we're working on now is we're working on rational solutions. We're working on anything that has rational solutions. What we are going to work on next is we're going to work on irrational solutions. So while you might be able to guess and check with this type of problem right now, when we do irrational solutions, you will not be able to guess and check. So you want to make sure you kind of have the process down when the numbers are rational, so that you can make sure you know how to do them when the answers are irrational. So here we go. Find two consecutive even whole numbers whose product is 224. So I want us to focus on this part right here first, whose product is 224. What is happening between those two numbers to get a product? What are you doing to get a product? Multiplying, okay? So if I took X and I multiplied it times Y, I would get 224. That's what that's saying right there. Find two consecutive even whole numbers whose product is 224. Okay? Now I want us to focus on two consecutive. Okay? Give me an example of two consecutive numbers. Not even whole numbers, just two consecutive numbers. So if I gave you the number 3, what would be the next consecutive number? 4. Okay, so 3 and 4 are consecutive numbers. Okay, 5 and 6 are consecutive numbers, 7 and 8, and we could go on and on and on. If I labeled the first number in each one of these sequences as X, what would represent the second number? What am I doing to X to get the very next number? I am adding 1. So I have X and I have X plus 1. So I have X is 5, X plus 1 is 6. X is 7, X plus 1 is 8. Okay, so I am adding 1 to get consecutive. Now I am saying even. So I want you to tell me some consecutive even numbers. 2 and 4.
4 and 6.
2 and 4, 4 and 6. 6 and 8. Okay? So if I labeled 2 as X, what would I label 4? X plus 2. Excellent. Okay, and that's because of this word right here, even. So if 4 is X, then 6 is X plus 2. If 6 is X, 8 is X plus 2. Okay, so I can talk about two consecutive even whole numbers by using X and X plus 2. X and X plus 2. So what I've got now is instead of using X and Y as the two numbers that I multiply together, I'm going to multiply X and X plus 2 together. And I can write that like this: X times X plus 2. And I have dealt with the two consecutive even whole numbers. Now, if we think back to Wednesday, and I do X, and what I'm doing from Wednesday is I'm trying to put this in standard form, okay? So standard form is that my quadratic has to be in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c, okay? So that means everything's multiplied out and my x squared comes first. That's what that means. What does it also have to be equal to? 0. Okay, so the way that I solve this is I'm going to go ahead and distribute that x. So x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. So I've just distributed that. That equals 224. Now, to get it into standard form and set equal to 0, what do I have to do with that 224? Subtract. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 224 equals 0. Okay? Now, I can factor this. This can be factored. I have a positive sum and a negative product. So because I've got a negative product, what does that tell me about my numbers? If one of them's negative and one of them's positive. Good. Okay? I have a positive sum. So which one has the higher absolute value? My positive number or my negative number? The positive number. Okay? So I want you guys to try and figure out what those numbers are right now. And they're on the higher end. So look at numbers above 10, in between 10 and 20. Look at numbers in between 10 and 20. Okay. Anybody have the two numbers multiplied together that give me 224? 14 and 16 are the two numbers, okay? One of them is negative. Which one's negative? 14 is negative. So I have x minus 14 and x plus 16. Okay, now to solve this, I put x minus 14 equal to 0. X plus 16 equal to 0. Okay? So x is 14 or x is negative 16. Now, if we go back here, it says whole numbers. Okay? Find two consecutive even whole numbers. So what does that tell me about the negative 16? It doesn't work. So what am I going to have to do? Okay, I just ignore it. I just ignore it. So my only answer is that x is 14. So if x is 14, what is x plus 2? If x is 14, what's x plus 2?
16.
Excellent. Okay, x and x plus 2. Good. Can I go to the next screen? Is it okay if I go to the next screen? Okay. The perimeter of a rectangle is 32 inches. The area is 60 square inches. Find the length and the width of the rectangle. The perimeter of a rectangle is 32 inches, and the area is 60 inches. Find the length and the width of the rectangle. Okay? So, what's the first thing that I can do before I really know what to do anything else? What's the first thing I can do? Draw a rectangle. Okay, and we know that a rectangle has a length and it has a width. Okay? We're also told that the perimeter of this rectangle is 32 inches and that the area of this rectangle is 60 inches squared. Okay? The perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, and the area is length times width. So what we've got to do is we've got to figure out a way to look at the relationship between the length and the width so that we can figure it out. Okay? So since I'm told that the perimeter is 32 inches and that the area is 60 inches, I'm going to go ahead and write that in. So I'm going to erase the area and I'm going to erase the perimeter. My perimeter is 32 inches and my area is 60. Okay? Now, if I take that 60 equals length times width, so I'm focusing on my area. If I take that and I divide both sides by W, so I end up with 60 over W equals L. Can I erase this L right here and put in 60 over W? Can I do that? Can I have a relationship like that? Yeah, I absolutely can. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take this length and I am going to plug it in right here. So I've got that my length is 60 over W. So I'm going to take out this L right here and I am going to put in 60 over W. So I have 32 inches equals 2 times 60 over W plus 2 over W. So all I've done is I've taken what I know is my length. My length is 60 divided by W. That's what this is right here. And I have put it in for this L right here. That's what I've done. Okay? Now I only have one unknown. I have something in a denominator. So what could I do to get rid of that W? Multiply everything by W. You're absolutely... Oh, I forgot to give out homework last class. Remind me to give out your homework this class. I don't know why I thought about that, but I did. So I apologize. I have your homework. I was trying to figure out what that homework meant up there, and that meant for me to hand out homework. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply everything by W. So I have 32 times W. Then I have 2 times 60 over W times W. And then I have plus 2W times W. Okay? So now I can simplify. 32 times W is 32W. These W's cancel out. So what's 2 times 60?
120.
Excellent. So I have 120. What's 2 times W times W?
2W squared.
Excellent. Okay, now I'm going to erase everything on the right-hand side. Is that okay? Can I erase the right-hand side? Did you get what you needed? Am I good? Okay. So I have 32W equals 120 plus 2W squared. Now remember, I've got to get to AX squared plus BX plus C equals 0. That's what I've got to get to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these right here. I'm going to put the 2W squared first. So I have 32W equals 2W squared plus 120. I just changed the order there. Okay, now I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides. So I have 0 equals 2W squared minus 32W plus 120. Okay, so I have put it in standard form set equal to 0. I want us to look at our coefficients here. Okay, I have a 2, I have a negative 32, and I have a 120. What do you notice about each one of those?
They're all even.
They're all even. So can I divide everything by 2? Yes, and when I do that, it makes everything way easier. So I have 0 equals w squared minus 16w plus 60. Okay? Now I'm going to give you 1 minute to factor that. 1 minute to factor that. What are your two numbers? Negative 6 and negative 10. And those work because negative 6 plus negative 10 give me negative 16. Negative 6 times negative 10 gives me positive 60. Okay, so I have w minus 6 equals 0. W minus 10 equals 0. So my W value can be 6 or it can be 10. It can be 6 or it can be 10. So if I were to plug 6 in for W, so if I plugged 6 in for W, so if I made this 6 inches and I did 60 divided by 6, what do I get for my length? 10 inches. Okay? Now, if I plugged 10 in for W, I would have 60 divided by 10. What would I get for my length? 6. So they're interchangeable. So it doesn't matter which one you use. Because they're both positive, we don't have to throw one out. Because they're both positive, we don't have to throw one out. Okay? Can I go to the next screen? Okay, here we go. Suppose that the length of one leg of a right triangle is 3 inches more than the length of the other leg. If the length of the hypotenuse is 15 inches, find the lengths of the two legs. Okay, I'm going to give you just a second to write all that down. Okay. Suppose that the length of one leg of a right triangle is 3 inches more than the length of the other leg. If the length of the hypotenuse is 15 inches, find the lengths of the two legs. Okay? What can I draw here? A triangle, a right triangle. So before I do anything else, I can draw a right triangle. Okay? And it is a right triangle. So because we're talking about a right triangle, the Pythagorean theorem comes into play. So if I have A, B, and C, A, B, and C, I know that A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Now, if you need that on a test, I will give it to you. If you need that on a test, I will give it to you. Okay? Now, I am told that the hypotenuse is 15 inches. Okay, the hypotenuse is 15 inches. The hypotenuse is always the number across from the right angle. Always. The hypotenuse is always across from that. Okay? Suppose the length of one leg of a right triangle is 3 inches more than the length of the other leg. Okay? So here is one leg right here. What's the length of the other leg? X plus 3. Because it says, suppose that the length of one leg of a right triangle is 3 inches more than the length of the other leg. So x plus 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to plug this into the Pythagorean theorem. So I have x squared plus x plus 3 squared equals 15 squared. Okay, 15 squared is 225. Now, students often make a mistake with this right here. The x plus 3 squared. The wrong way to do this, is to say that x plus 3 squared means x squared plus 9. Okay? That is wrong. What you have to do with this x plus 3 is you have to FOIL it. What x plus 3 squared means is x plus 3 times x plus 3. So we have to FOIL that. So I have x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so now I can plug that in right here. Okay, and remember, I've got to get to ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. That's what I've got to get to. Okay. These can be simplified to 2x squared. Okay, what do I have to do with my 225? Good, I need to subtract it from both sides. Okay, so I'm left with 2x squared plus 6x minus 216. Okay, do you notice anything about all of my coefficients? They are all even. So what can I divide everything by? 2. That is so helpful. Very, very helpful. Okay, so I've got x squared plus 3x minus 108 equals 0. Okay, now I'm going to give you about a minute to factor that. I'm going to give you a minute to factor that. My product is negative, so that means one number is positive and one number is negative. My sum is positive 3, so that means the larger absolute value is going to be positive. Okay? Good, you got it. So x minus 9, x plus 12. Okay, good job. So now I'm going to do x minus 9 equals 0, x plus 12 equals 0, x equals 9, and x equals negative 12. Now, we are talking about the length of a side of a triangle. The length of a side of a triangle. That's what we're talking about. Can it be negative? No. So I have to throw this out. Okay? I can't have my negative 12. So if the length of this side is 9 inches, what's the length of my other side?
12.
Excellent. 12 inches. Okay? Okay, I have one more problem. It looks like people are still writing, so I'll pause just for a second. Okay. Can I go to the next screen? Okay. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to write that down. A rectangular garden has dimensions of 20 feet by 12 feet. A gravel path of equal width is to be built around the garden. How wide can the path be if there is enough gravel for 228 feet squared? Okay. A rectangular garden has dimensions of 20 feet by 12 feet. A gravel path of equal width is to be built around the garden. How wide can the path be if there is enough gravel for 228 feet squared? Now, it takes a minute for us to really wrap our mind around what's happening here. Okay? This part right here is my garden. Okay? It's my garden where I plant roses and hydrangeas and all sorts of good things. Okay? Can you see that at all? Yeah, I guess you can. Then what I have is I have a path around the garden that is gravel. Another way that you might see a border problem is that you have a pool and then you have a sidewalk around the pool. Okay? So we have a rectangle and then we have something around that rectangle, such as a cement path or a gravel path or a picture frame, anything like that. Okay? So we are told that the garden, and the garden is the part on the inside, is 20 feet by 12. So this right here is 20 feet, and this is 12 feet right here. Okay? 20 by 12. So since we know that the garden is 20 feet by 12 feet, can I find out the area of the garden? Yes. How do I find that out? I multiply 20 times 12. So 20 times 12 is 240 feet. So 240 feet squared is the area of the garden. That's where the soil is. That's where the roses are, the hydrangeas, the irises, or the stargazer lilies, or whatever. Okay? Now, we do not know the width of my path. Okay? We don't know what it is. The only thing we do know is that it is equal all the way around it. So this part of the path is x. This part down here is x. This part over here is x. And this part up here is x. Okay? So if x is 2 feet, that means it is 2 feet all the way around. It's not more on one side than it is the other. It is all the way around the same side, the same width. Okay? Now, if I wanted to know my total area, okay, so I'm talking about the area of my path and the area of my garden, what would I do? Can I figure that out? The total area. Do I have the value of my garden, the area of my garden, and do I have the total area of my path? I do. So what do I add together? What two things do I add together? Good. 228, because that's the area of my path. And the 240, which is the area of my garden. So 228 plus 240 is the area of my large triangle. Or rectangle, I'm sorry, not triangle. So 468 feet squared is the area of my larger triangle. Rectangle. Why do I keep saying triangle? Rectangle. Okay, now this is where you've got to take a leap. This is the part that's hard to get. Okay? I want to know the length of my larger rectangle and the width of my larger rectangle. That's what I want to know. So look carefully. Look carefully. Okay? The smaller rectangle is how wide or how long? Okay? Then what is this distance right here? What are we representing it? X. And what is this distance right here? X. So can I say this length is 2x plus 20? Is that an accurate statement? Yes. So if this is my width, if my width is 12, what is this right here? X. And what is this right here? X. So if I have 2x plus 12, is that the width of my large rectangle? Yes. So now I can decide that 2x plus 20 times 2x plus 12 is equal to what? Yes, perfect. That's exactly right. Okay? So what I want you to do now is I want you to FOIL 2x plus 20 and 2x plus 12. I want you to FOIL that. I'm going to give you 1 minute to FOIL it. Okay, when you FOILed it, did you get 4x squared plus 64x plus 240. Did you get that? Okay, and that is equal to our 468. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 468 from both sides. And I want you to do that right now. Subtract 468 from both sides. Okay? Did you get negative 228? Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to the next screen. Has everybody got this screen written down? I can go to the next screen. Okay. So what I have here is I should have 4x squared plus 64x minus 228 equals 0. Okay? Now, what can you tell me about all of those numbers?
They're all even.
They are all even, and it gets even better. They can all be divided by 4, which is great news. Okay? So we are going to divide everything by 4. So I have x squared plus 16x minus 57. Okay? I have a negative product and a positive sum. Okay? Anybody have my numbers? Negative product, positive sum. So one number is positive. One number is negative. Greater absolute value's got to be positive. I'll tell you that 3 goes into 57. So divide negative 57 by 3 and see if that works. Does 3 work? Yes. What do you get? 57 divided by 3 is what? 19. Okay, so which one's positive?
19.
Good. So I have x plus 19, x minus 3. So I have x plus 19 equals 0. X is negative 19. X minus 3 is 0. X equals 3. Okay, what can you tell me about the negative 19? It's not going to work. We're talking about a negative number. We cannot have a distance that's negative. So the answer is 3 feet. 3 feet. Now I want to go back to the picture. Okay, I want to go back to the picture. Can I go back to the picture? Okay. What this is telling me is that my yellow, this right here, is 3 feet. The path around it is 3 feet. That's what that's telling me. Okay? That the path around it is 3 feet. Okay.